3 action words. Run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help with...
Welcome. It's nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. The Nigerian Army has recovered the remains of the missing retired Army General Idris Alkali in an abandoned well in Kushwet in Shen district of Just South local government area of Plateau State. Garrison Commander 3 Division, Nigerian Army, Brigadier General Umar Mohammed said one of the suspects earlier declared wanted, who submitted himself to the Nigeria police, led troops to the abandoned water well. He said the hierarchy of the Nigerian Army has issued an order that the retired missing Army General must be found dead or alive, and all those who participated in the heinous crime be brought to book. Political actors in Nigeria have been charged to be decorous in their conduct and utterances ahead of the 2019 elections in order to preserve the unity of the country for sustainable growth and development. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the charge at the launch of the 2019 Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal Fund. Details will come in our subsequent bulletin. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari is urging aggrieved members of the All Progressives Congress to not only keep faith with the governing party, but renew their allegiance to the country, assuring them that the future is bright and promising. This was at a special dinner organized in honor of APC Aspirants Forum. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
The interactive dinner provided the opportunity for the APC Aspirants Forum, comprising aggrieved governorship, national and state assembly aspirants, to share their experiences and chart the best way forward, having failed to secure the party's tickets for the 2019 elections.
We are in a state of political development where we are refusing to learn from other people's experiences and refusing to learn from our own mistakes. So I don't know how long it will take us to get the system right.
President Buhari, however, urged them not to lose hope, but maintain focus, as the governing APC truly appreciates their value in deepening and sustaining the change agenda for a greater Nigeria.
It is not going to be easy, but time is in your favor. You are much younger. So please don't give up. Maintain your constituencies. Keep firm and clear objective, this country, and this country. You must maintain your faith in your country. Let us keep on trying. Let us not give up.
Justice Minister Abubakar Malami assured the aspirants that their desire to have an internal democracy that works efficiently and effectively is a desire of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Mr. President, in all sincerity, share your respective grievances, share your disappointments as to the process, and in effect, appreciate the fact that we must have to work together, consolidate, and sustain the achievement of the last 3.5 years for good of all of us and future generations of Nigeria.
Members of the APC Aspirants Forum who made a presentation to the president in appreciation of his leadership and commitment to the nation's greatness speak on their takeaways from the interactive session.
We know that you mean well for this country. We know that you're not here for your selfish interests. This Aspirant Forum can guarantee you 40 million votes
to put this country on a proper footing of development and greater success.
We'll go back to our constituencies. We'll mobilize young Nigerians to support Mr. President.
We are going to make sure those bad eggs that follow the wind of change and come in, we're going to make sure we flush them out.
Secretary to the government of the Federation, Bosgida Mustafa, attended the somewhat reconciliatory meeting, which was also held earlier with other stakeholders of the party. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, governors have agreed to pay a national minimum wage of 22,500 naira. The governors arrived at this decision after their meeting, which ended Tuesday evening in Abuja. The chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar of Zamfara State, announced this decision. The governors said the position is in the overall interest of the workers and the economy. Correspondent Tunji Adepoju reports.
The National Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage was inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari in November 2017 to arrive at an acceptable and agreeable minimum wage for Nigerian workers. Some state governors are members of the Tripartite Committee on National Minimum Wage. Following a meeting that lasted for 2 hours, the governors stated that the welfare of all Nigerians is their ultimate concern in all the states, as they are concerned about the deteriorating economic situation experienced by the vulnerable segments of the Nigerian population.
Position that since the percentage of salaries workers is not more, our position must not just reflect a figure, but a sustainable strategy based on the ability and capacity to pay, as well as reflective of all developmental needs in each state.
The government resolved that they considered the capacity to pay and the ability to pay in arriving at the minimum wage after their meeting.
Governors therefore agree to pay a national minimum wage of 22,500 naira.
From the Secretariat of Nigerian Governors Forum in Abuja, I am Tunji Adepoju.
Thanks, Tunji. But on the other hand, the organized labor says it will not accept the 22,500 naira new national minimum wage as proposed by the Governors Forum, describing it as a mere pronouncement which has no place in the collective bargaining agreement. Labour, while responding in Abuja to the position of the Governors Forum, says the forum is not part of the agreement reached by the Tripartite Committee, which has 6 governors representing the 6 geopolitical zones. Labour recalls that the review of new minimum wage has been due since 2016, and this should not be the time for government at the state levels to try to disrupt the collective bargaining agreement of 30,000 naira as new minimum wage.
Therefore, this press briefing is by NLC. Others will do their own. TUC, they are having their meeting in Lagos, they will address the press. And so for our other colleagues. But this is by NLC. All of us will also address the press today or tomorrow. Thank you. Comrades, listen to what I'm saying. At the stage we are, negotiations have been concluded. Even the document people have signed, going forward is to push the document to the next level, to the National Assembly. There you can be able to have a public hearing and we can argue the issue. Anybody that wants anything can go there and argue the issue. But not at this. The Governors Forum is a political forum to advance their individual interests. It has no place in our constitution or in our status. That I've made very clear. You are aware that when we are taking decisions on organized labor, our National Executive Council that met on the 23rd of this month comprised state chairmen of all the 36 states of Nigeria. And therefore we have sensitized them. A decision has been taken. They have communicated to their individual states the position that have been taken. And that
NLC rejecting the 22,500 Naira governor's proposal as new minimum wage. Moving on now, Nigeria's leadership role in global affairs, particularly in West African countries, is to be acknowledged by various countries and international partners. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema, who has been meeting with some diplomats, says President Buhari's engagement with world leaders is yielding positive results. Foreign Desk correspondent Makut Simon Macham has more.
Good to see you again.
Very good to see you too. You're welcome to Nigeria.
Nigeria and the Netherlands have enjoyed long-standing relations that have been mutually beneficial to both countries. Apart from trade, investors from both nations have continued to widen the scope of engagement with new opportunities created by governments of the two countries. This visit by the Dutch Foreign Affairs Minister, Stef Blok, to Nigeria therefore comes in timely as he engages his Nigerian counterpart, Geoffrey Onyema.
And looking forward, as we agreed at the last visit, to maintain and strengthen binational exchanges and use that as a framework and a platform to maintain constant and regular dialogue and build increased economic and social and cultural relations between our two countries.
And we appreciate the regional role Nigeria is playing in a complicated region where you show your leadership.
Nigeria's 2019 general election was also in focus when Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema received a UN ECOWAS delegation led by UN Special Representative to West Africa and the Sahel, Mohammed Ibn Chambers.
In this process of integration, we have come to understand that it's crucially important to have a lead country in a particular sub-region with whom the UN and other international partners can work to support a deepening of integration, a deepening of democracy. And Nigeria has successfully played that role in West Africa.
The UN Special Representative to Guinea-Bissau, Jose Viegas Filo, was also at the Foreign Affairs Ministry to thank Nigeria and President Muhammadu Buhari for material support and mediation role in resolving the political situation in the West African country. In Abuja, Makut Simon Macham, NTA News.
More stories on Nationwide with Elizabeth in Lagos. It's over to you, Elizabeth.
Hello, Lydia, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. The Governor General of Canada and the Lagos State Governor, Akinwumi Ambode, have jointly unveiled a biobank laboratory in Lagos designed to ensure effective prevention, containment, and management of the outbreak of infectious diseases. Nosa Osula reports.
Biobank has two biosafety level laboratories known as BSL2 and 3 with capacity to process and rapidly identify samples suspected to be Ebola, Lassa fever and other infectious diseases with epidemic potential. The Canadian Governor General said the West Africa Ebola outbreak underscored the need for countries to intensify cooperation and coordination to prevent the spread of diseases and to effectively counter epidemics.
With research, with proper techniques, with the storage of those pathogens, and doing work on them so that we know how to prevent the spread, to detect it before it does, to respond to it, and I'm really hoping completely eradicate it. And we did that in the past. We did eradicate smallpox.
She also commended the Lagos State government for containing the 2014 Ebola outbreak, saying the facility would better equip the state to mitigate post-Ebola threats. Governor Ambode said the facility would help public health practitioners not only to detect, but boost clinical management of such outbreak, with the state bearing the cost of training, maintenance, and community engagement.
So beyond what it is that you have actually done for us today, I also extend a hand of fellowship that we can do to extend, investment opportunities of Canadian companies to Lagos, and by so doing, improving on the GDP of Lagos and technically on the GDP of Nigeria.
In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
The need for the National Orientation Agency and the private sector to synergize towards tackling the social menace that poses threat to development, peace, and unity formed the thrust of the one-day roundtable on exploring the opportunities with a corporate Nigeria. Adiola Omokivi reports.
The responsibility of communicating government policies, programs and activities, as well as reorientate the people, the National Orientation Agency said it is imperative to involve the private sector, which forms the economic hub, to harness the potential and people for national development despite daunting challenges.
We believe they will be able to reach their consumers and their customers, a large number of Nigerians in what we are talking about. They can take any of these programs, attach their brand so that it becomes a win situation for government, a win situation for Nigeria, a win situation for the private sector.
On the part of the private sector, both government and Nigerians need to be rebranded.
If you look within the private sector, you clearly find a clear, distinct culture, right, that is different from what you find within the government sector. So even though the government is not the largest employer of labor, it actually sets the direction.
There were presentations that explained the 5-year strategic plan of the agency to enable them take stock of their performances. The National Orientation Agency is located in all the 774 local government areas of the country. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, is now armed with vital and useful suggestions to enable it achieve its core mandates in moving Nigeria to greatness. In Lagos, Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
A 2019 edition of IVM Granite pickup vans built specifically for African roads to withstand difficult terrains have been unveiled in Inewi, Anambra State by Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing Company Limited. The unveiling ceremony of the company's first automated line section was witnessed by the Inspector General of Police alongside other dignitaries. The chairman of Innocent Vehicles Manufacturing Company Limited, in his welcome address, said the commissioning of the manufacturing facility is apt, following the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the Nigerian Air Force to design, manufacture and supply them military operational vehicles. The automated production line, he explained, will facilitate welding of a vehicle in 4 minutes against 6 hours when it was done manually.
We will gradually increase our capacity as a company from 10,000 to 60,000 annual production.
It is equipped with comfortable interior and has a 6 manual transmission as well as an indirect wiring manipulation, which is technologically driven for easy navigation.
It is a wonder on way, work, preferred, design and built with all the latest technology you can find anywhere in the world. From navigation to this, shock absorber that has 4 suspension that can withstand African road to each inch. That is double charge. We are proud to say we have come to the age.
Innocent Vehicle Manufacturing was conceived to produce truly made in Nigerian vehicles, whereby a minimum of 60% of the content are made locally.
Innocent Vehicles Manufacturing Company Limited says it is committed to the development of the automobile company in Nigeria and by extension provide employment. Time now to join Ogechi Paul in our Port Harcourt Network Center for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Ogechi.
Hello, Elizabeth, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The federal government has developed a strategic plan of action to contain the menace of soot pollution in Rivers State. The Director General National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSTRA, Peter Idabo, said that these are the one-day stakeholders summit organized by the agency in Port Harcourt. Chidebe Onya reports.
The summit is aimed at creating a template for systematic
coordinated, result-oriented, and science-based approach to deal with the life-threatening pollutants popularly referred to as black soot. Reducing black soot in Port Harcourt and indeed the Niger Delta region would not just save lives, but would also attract investments and boost the country's economy.
Shortly, the federal government will come up with a strategic plan to reduce this problem. The security agencies that have been put in place, to arrest people, these people who do these things, are also partnering with us.
Speakers at the summit regret the ecological damages, increase in health hazards, and the reduction in aesthetic value of homes, among other negative effects of the substance.
Action means government must be able to account for crude seized. We must see enforcement in the sense that we let us see convictions of those arrests.
Ways, mechanisms that we can use to tackle the sudden in Port Harcourt and indeed in Niger Delta.
The theme of the summit is mitigating soot pollution associated with oil and gas activities in Port Harcourt. NOSDRA says it is committed to a safe environment for the Nigerian populace in keeping with its mandate. In Port Harcourt, Chidiebere Onyea, NTA News.
And our last report still on the environment says 2 suspects allegedly involved in illegal movement of about 12.8 million liters of illegally refined petroleum products have been intercepted by men of Nigerian Navy. They are currently under investigation to ascertain their culpability. Kingsley Amaju reports that the suspects were tracked down within the Onne waterways in Rivers State.
These arrests followed intensive campaign and surveillance by men of the Nigerian Navy. 4 of the 5 barges arrested were laden with adulterated automated gasoline oil, popularly known as diesel. Each of the barges has an estimated capacity of 3.2 million liters. Flag Officer commanding Eastern Naval Command, Rear Admiral David Adeniro, insists that the Nigerian Navy is poised to ending illicit deals within the state maritime domain.
We have the means to convince them or compel them to change. If they do not change willingly, then we might have to take necessary measures.
Meanwhile, the commander, NNS Pathfinder, Commodore Samson Bora, said that the Nigerian Navy is poised to adopting the swarm boogie operations to help reduce soot in the environment.
The Navy is highly engaged in the anti-illegal bunkering operations there.
NTA News gathered that the naval headquarters has so far deployed additional 14 gunboats while committing resources to ensure the success of the operation. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that's it from here. You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. The bulletin continues after this time out.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
It's
celebration time. Come, let's celebrate as Western Delta University Ogara celebrates a combined convocation ceremony starting from Sunday the 4th of November 2018 and Wednesday 7th of November 2018 is for alumni. Friday the 9th of November 2018 is for installation of Chancellor, inauguration of Board of Trustee members and convocation lecture. Saturday November 10, 2018 is for award of degree and prizes. Come and join us as we celebrate. For more information, please call 0816-867-6387. Again, 0816-867-6387. Please visit our website at www.wdu.edu.com. This is signed by Professor G.O. Aswen, Chairman, Ceremony.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the global development agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations, and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
NTA Television College, Jos, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is organizing a 2-week course in Archival Management System of Broadcast Media. Date, 5th to 16th November 2018. Venue, NTA Television College, Rayfield, Jos. Course fee, 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. The course will equip participants with the techniques of automating recordings, cataloging, and analyzing media for storage and productions. Come and take advantage of this course to sharpen your skills in maintaining, conserving, and utilizing the archival system. For more information, please contact us on the following numbers: 0806 980 9807, 0803 314 4383. TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Welcome back and thanks for being there. We now go back to an earlier report. We told you President Muhammadu Buhari charged political actors in Nigeria to be decorous in their conduct and utterances ahead of the 2019 elections in order to preserve the unity of the country for sustainable growth and development. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the charge at the launch of the 2019 Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal Fund. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has that.
The Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal Fund is organized annually to appreciate the gallantry and sacrifices of the Nigerian Armed Forces during the various world wars, peacekeeping operations, as well as the campaign against insurgency and other internal security operations. The celebration, President Muhammadu Buhari said, is a forceful reminder to everyone of the imperative of peace and the need to remain in one united country. And on this, he said, political actors must take the part of honor, guard their utterances, and conduct themselves with high sense of responsibility.
We would have no country to lead if our acts of deliberate incitement lead to the disintegration of our dear nation. Let us put Nigeria first and realize that in every contest there must be one winner. Having resolved to remain one united, indivisible, and indissoluble nation, I call on all stakeholders to be steadfast in the cause of nurturing a united and prosperous nation.
The president, who applauded the nation's armed forces for the restoration of normalcy in the Northeast, however, regretted the recent murder of 2 young and promising aid workers, Saifura Kosa and Hawa Liman, by Boko Haram terrorists.
We condemn the callous and cowardly act in its entirety and call on all citizens and friends to forge a united front against this common enemy of our destiny.
President Buhari pledged that the resettlement and rehabilitation of citizens affected by the war on terror will continue and called on the National Assembly to quickly pass the proposed Veterans Federation of Nigeria Act towards ensuring proper welfare and health condition of military veterans.
I wish to call on all Nigerians and others resident in Nigeria to procure and wear the emblems with pride, to identify with those who laid down their lives for peace and security of our fatherland.
We also owe it a duty to give consideration to the plight of the widows and orphans of our fallen heroes.
I want to thank Mr. President.
We apologize for that hitch. Moving on now, the federal government and International Funds for Agricultural Development Partnership has contributed more than 55,000 metric tons of rice and 184,000 metric tons of cassava, valued at 11 billion naira. The initiative, which is more of extension services, also contributed more than $68 million, though processing, marketing and supply of rice and cassava in the country. Musa Baba Aliyu has the details.
Informal commodity markets like this one is where majority of farmers sell their produce. It is a market where quality is considered insignificant, with attendant effects on the prices of produce. It is in view of this that the federal government IFAD support program has constituted the National Commodity Alliance Forum to provide a market platform for rice and cassava production in the country.
The program is built on a very simple agribusiness 4P model, which is the producers working with the private sector.
The International Fund for Agricultural Development in Nigeria says its partnership with the country is significantly impacting on the socio-economic development of rural farmers.
On the part of IFAD, we will continue to provide the relevant support to the government and people of Nigeria in a bid to support rural communities to take over their developmental agenda.
The government has also tried to improve the quality of extension services that has progressively declined over the years nationwide, with the establishment of and the strengthening of the Department of Agricultural Extension Services.
Rice and cassava processors are also partners in the IFAD support program. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
There are pointers to the fact that the federal government is determined to eradicate poverty and unemployment through the social investment program that has empowered thousands of people. This was the standpoint of discussants on NTA's Current Affairs program, Tuesday Live. Talatu Ezirike has details.
The desire of dream of every citizen is to be economically sufficient, but limited factors of production which hinders this has given rise to poverty, unemployment and poor infrastructure. Interestingly, the wind of change that started blowing in 2015 is giving hope to millions of Nigerians through the Social Investment Program, SIP. Many people are beneficiaries of the various social investment programs that include homegrown school feeding program for more than 9 million primary pupils in 26 states, and the conditional cash transfer in empowering the poorest of the poor.
As the time when the money come for my hand, I take and do something where I do farm, buy honey.
The story is not different with the End Power, where unemployed graduates are paid monthly stipend of 30,000 naira.
They have trained me a lot that I can keep my poultry at home. Even at home with small ones, I can even start with it.
The first time in my life I've seen a system of employment transparent. I can confirm to you that I was in my bed when I applied for this Empower. I don't know anybody.
Petty traders across the country are also enjoying an intervention called the Market Money.
And what they need is very little. You look at them, they fry, they roast yam or roast corn on the road. Those people want to grow their businesses. So we started Trader Money, and so far we've given out over 1 million loans to in every state of Nigeria, and we just go into the markets and enumerate them. You don't need to know anybody. We've created a level playing field, and we hope to sustain that.
I must confess that it is steadily taking shape. Things that were not originally, programmed under it. Trade money, market money now. For me, it's a value addition.
What next then?
The laws needs to be strengthened so that this goes beyond the lifespan of this government. So in that wise, the private sector will have to come in.
We have to protect this kind of work that we are doing by enacting Nigerian poor laws. And once the Office of the Special Advisor on Social Protection undertakes this advocacy function, you will find that the communication plan for the entire program will naturally evolve, because there will be policy briefs to relevant committees of the National Assembly so that they can be informed about the true nature of life of those constituents that they claim to represent. Because to lack political will at a time such as this is to sadly demonstrate once again that although in this country we have representatives, we quite often do not have representation.
Analysts are advocating right actions in building strong economy to empower the citizens and earn Nigeria a pride of place in the Committee of Nations. Talat Izarike, NTA News.
Let's now join Suleiman in Kaduna for an update on the curfew in Kaduna and other stories trending in that zone. Over to you.
Very much, Lydia, and a warm welcome to Kaduna. Kaduna State Government has relaxed the night-time curfew in Kaduna Metropolis and environs. The curfew now takes effect from 10 o'clock in the evening to 5 in the morning. The relaxation of the curfew followed a meeting of core security team on the situation in the state. The curfew hours in Kachia local government remains from 5 o'clock in the evening to 6 in the morning. The state government commends the residents for the growing atmosphere of calm and appeals for continued vigilance. Jigawa state government says it is ready to pay whatever amount agreed as the new minimum wage in the country. Governor Muhammadu Badaru Abubakar made the pledge during a solidarity rally by the state chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. Awal Muhammad Kazori has the details.
The Labour leaders were at the government house, Dutse, to intimate the governor on the proposed strike on the 6th of November if the issue of new minimum wage is not resolved.
Whatever comes out from the Abuja, we will do our best.
Jigawa State NLC Chairman Comrade Usmanya Uduse said Jigawa State is not owing any civil servant or pensioner their entitlement.
Because we receive our salary, pension, gratuity as at when. For this reason, we are here to thank him for his intention to pay whatever agreed by the committee.
The chairman called on the governor to appeal to his colleagues to implement whatever is agreed upon in their respective states. Awal Muhammad, NTA News.
Towards harnessing its vast agricultural potentials, the Kano State government has initiated an empowerment program for women and youths in agribusiness, tagged Agribusiness Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises Scheme. The initiative aims at minimizing joblessness through production, processing, and packaging. Abdullah Mustafa reports.
The economic diversification initiative of the Buhari's administration is mostly focused on the agricultural sector. This is with a view to saving the country's hard-earned foreign exchange and creating jobs through production, processing, packaging, and marketing. Already, many state governments have embraced the president's initiative in various ways. In addition to supporting farmers with inputs and extension services, Kano State government has initiated the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprises Scheme. It was launched by Governor Abdullah Umar Ganduje with presentation of starter packs to more than 4,000 women and youth trained in various income generation activities. Beneficiaries, the governor explained, will each make at least 30,000 naira from every production. Training for the scheme was jointly organized by the Kano State Ministries of Information, Local Government and the National Directorate of Employment (NTA). Another set of 4,400 young women who are into various petty trades were each supported with 20,000 naira. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Thank you, Abdullahi. More reports ahead after this commercial break.
Nigeria, a citizen participatory program, will soon be on your screen. It will transmit Mondays to Thursdays by 6 p.m. on NTA Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba channels, and NTA Entertainment, all on NTA Star TV network. Nigeria seeks to promote the appreciation of our indigenous languages, citizen civic responsibility, nationalism, and capacity building. It also helps to address misrepresentation of our national symbols. Nigeria is a live phone-in TV program, so you can join in the conversation. For sponsorship and participation, please contact these numbers. Nigeria, promoting culture and national values.
Fake news which is shared for malicious purposes is a danger to our peace and security in Nigeria. Misinformation as fake news is a serious threat to our hard-earned democracy and promotes hatred and misunderstanding between our communities. We are all responsible for stopping the spread of fake news in its tracks. So, always check the source and credibility of any news item. Say no to fake news. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Yeah, Modena. Do you have Yamala? Yes. And Abula? Yes, sir. Black or white? Yamala. Have I ever eaten white amala here before? Yes, sir. Give me amala and abula. Do you have dodo? Dodo 2 grams. Good. Let me have some dodo. I want you to put the meat in a bowl. Shaki, suku, abodi. I like my edo to be very tender. You have stockfish? Yes, sir. Good. Let's have some stockfish. And the catfish, my favorite. Don't mind them. You have eggs. I would like 6 boiled eggs. No eggs. Okay, the catfish will do. And then rice. Rice and then some salad. Look. Do you have a kuru?
Thanks for standing by, and the news continues. The role of public relations practitioners in effective communication, information management, conflicts, resolutions, and promoting peace, among other issues, are on the front burner at a 2-day national retreat of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, in Calabar. Paul Abel reports that the retreat is the second in its series organized for chapter chairmen and secretaries across the country.
Information is very vital to the growth and development of any organization or society, and the capacity of experts in the process of information dissemination between an organization and its publics is cardinal towards promoting goodwill or igniting conflicts.
We believe that a body like the NIPR has a positive input to make in the governance of this country.
The retreat seeks to build the capacity of the professionals as team leaders in time management, dealing with difficult situations, productivity, and achieving organizational objectives, as well as creating a synergy between the national body and the state chapters.
Public relations is a bridge building profession.
It's going to afford us an opportunity to have an insight into the policy thrust of our present President, Malam Mukhtar Siraj.
It is the expectation that this second national retreat for public relations practitioners all over the country will not only enhance the performance of practitioners within the institute, but also contribute to national development. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
The advocacy for special educational program is to prepare candidates for defeats at the polls in order to stem electoral violence is gaining momentum, with advocates holding in strategic session for implementation of National Action Plan on Violence-Free Elections. Aliyu Tukur has that report.
Electoral violence has been a great concern to Nigeria, which has contributed to voter apathy, raising legitimacy issues for leaders that emerge. A study by NEPAD came out with a national action plan to address the challenge. The action plan stresses the need to remove the use of violence from the toolbox of political strategies, improving response to early warning signals, and punishing the perpetrators of the menace.
This particular problem has cost us a lot. It has cost us our economy, it has cost us peace and security, it has cost the enabling environment with the investors, the partners required to come to our country to work with us.
This strategic session is therefore part of the implementation process of the action plan. And the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, represented, says, government is committed not only to ensuring free, fair and credible elections, but also making sure that it is violence-free through various voter education programs. To achieve the theme of silencing the guns by 2020, there is optimism among the participants that implementing the action plan will be a magic one that will drastically reduce violence during elections. In Abuja, Aliyu Tukur, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. Governor Obaseki receives traditional rulers' council. Details of this and other stories with Obehi in Benin. Hello, Obehi. Good to see you.
Hello, Lydia. Thanks for joining us in Benin. 67 cartons of tramadol tablets and codeine syrup, as well as 525 bags of cannabis sativa, also known as Indian hemp, have been confiscated by the Nigerian Customs Service in Benin. The contrabands were handed over to relevant government agencies by the Deputy Controller and National Coordinator, Strike Force of the Customs Service, Abdullahi Musa Kirawa. Agatha Igwarojo has details.
Truck contained 345 bags of Indian hemp, each bag weighing 10 kg. A first look in the consignment gives the impression that the driver is headed for a party, but with intelligence report, custom officers were able to impound the truck.
Activities of the strike force team is basically on the use of credible intelligence from members of the public and the Customs Intelligence Unit, that is the CIU. We also use our ICT unit.
The National Strike Force Coordinator says investigations are on to unravel the true owner of the second truck containing 180 bags of Indian hemp, especially as the truck was also transporting cereals from a notable company with its seal on it. He handed over the seized Indian hemp, tramadol tablets and codeine syrup to officers of the NDLEA and NAFDAC. 600 used tires, 426 bales of second-hand clothing, and 805 bags of rice seized by officers were also on display. In Benin, Agatha Egwaroju, NTA News.
The Edo State Public Health Emergency Operations Center has been inaugurated in Benin City. The center, which is a collaborative effort between the state and Nigerian Center for Disease Control, is to enhance the coordination of information and resource management in responding to emergency situations. Udwakobong Achibong has details.
The reoccurring outbreaks of Lassa fever in 2018 has been described as the largest in the country, with Edo State as one of the worst hit states. Worried by the trend, the state government entered into partnership with the federal government to establish a disease control center for timely deployment of measures to bring the outbreaks under control.
State government put in the needed resources to ensure we have one of the best public health emergency operations center in the country.
With the inauguration of the center, stakeholders can now come together to discuss ways to improve on capacity to address any eventuality in handling public health issues.
The state and federal governments in our country are always working together to support the people. So this is not a one-off. This is what we are here to do. Government is here to serve the people.
Health partners are convinced that with concerted efforts, more can be achieved in effective healthcare delivery in the state. Edo State is now the 8th state of the Federation with Emergency Operations Center. In Benin, Udakobong Achibong, NTA News.
Governor Godwin Obaseki has appealed to traditional rulers in the country not to leave the fight against insecurity to government alone. He made the appeal when members of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, led by the Amayanabu of Tambras, Dr. Edmond Dakuru, visited him. Goodluck Enaine reports.
A major problem bedeviling the nation is that of insecurity, and these traditional rulers have taken it upon themselves to find a lasting solution to the menace. Governor Obaseki, who described the steps taken by the traditional rulers as apt, described security as a reason for government and appealed to the traditional rulers to partner with government at all levels in addressing the challenge.
Without security, without a sense of security, without a perception of security, it raises a serious question mark and issues as to the credibility and the legitimacy of government.
Leader of the delegation assured the governor that their meeting in Benin City will provide the lasting solution.
Security is a subject we cannot overthrow. There is just so much that challenges us, so much that defies solution.
The traditional rulers at the end of their meeting in Benin are expected to issue a communique that will assist government in addressing the menace. In Benin, Goodluck Enaine, NTA News.
That's it from Benin. Nationwide continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Obehe. Still on the traditional institution, traditional rulers are discussing the role they are expected to play in ensuring violence-free elections at the second consultative meeting of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, South and Southeast chapters in Benin. Chimdima Ndubuisi has more.
Month's time, Nigerians will be going to the polls to elect the people who will be at the helm of affairs at both executive and legislative arms of government. These traditional rulers from South, and Southeast, who are heads of localities where elections will take place, are on a mission. They are strategizing on how to keep their domains calm and peaceful before, during, and after the general elections.
To tell our people that it's not a do or die. If you lose this time, you still stand a chance next time. The means of conveyance of materials from the capital to the local government areas and to the kingdom areas. These are issues on which traditional fathers can fruitfully engage with local law enforcement.
As a traditional rulers, our achievement is for us to be one and speak with one voice.
They are not alone in this quest. Their counterparts from Southwest were also present at the meeting, which was held behind closed doors and lasted more than 3 hours.
We need to cooperate to operate. We want, this is a constituency, we can't run away from it. It's a great platform to assist the government in the coming election.
The desire of the convener, paramount ruler of Okorielemek community, Rivers State, is to see a united Nigeria after elections.
Traditional rulers rise up to their responsibility. We just have the community we are going to stay. And if we put it on fire, we have no other place we are going to go. Advise all political parties that let them go in and exercise try their best, test their popularities, not by violence, not by fighting, and also educate our subject. The INEC has set up rules, electoral rules, where they have to comply, respect it, go there and cast their votes, and government should provide a neighboring environment where the people will go in there without being harassed.
This is the second South, South and Southeast Traditional Rulers Consultative meeting. The first was held in Abuja, where the monarchs agreed to always work together for national peace and development. In Benin, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Next is Sports Update with Kene Emagudike.
The Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria